Call this meeting to order. This is the August 11th, 2021 regular meeting of the Schertz Planning and Zoning Commission. Item 1 was to call the order. Item 2 is seat an alternate to act if required, and we have Commissioner Golick joining us this evening. At this point, I'd just like to exercise a little privilege here, and not much of an audience out there, but those of you that may be watching at home or watch this video later, I'd like to acknowledge why we need the alternate this evening. I'm sure you can see that the chair next to me is vacant and draped with a black cloth. Unfortunately, for this commission, the city, and the community as a whole, we lost a member of the community team over the weekend. Mr. Ken Greenwald passed away, and I can't say enough about Ken. I've known him professionally for many, many years. Anybody that was at City Council meeting last night or happens to watch the video of the meeting last night, Councilmember Scagliola did a yeoman's job, I think, of recapping the career and the accomplishments and the contributions that Mr. Greenwald made over the years. I was a little curious. The online archives of the commission minutes only go back to January of 1980. But you pull up the minutes of that January meeting, and there you will find, as members present, you will find Mr. Ken Greenwald. And I know he served off and on P&Z for many, many years. He was a city council member for, I think Mr. Scagliola said 20 years. And Commissioner Broad, I think, has served with him longer. But I first met Ken when I was working in the fire department so many years ago, and it just seemed like he was always around and he was always a part of things. Day one, he was there when we created the Schertz Local Government Corporation to ensure the city had adequate water supply for the future. And he served on the CCMA board. And I sometimes leaned on him as a mentor, being relatively new to the commission. I often sought advice from Ken. And I'm sure we'll all miss him and his contributions, and it's well, yeah. I think the legacy he left behind will live on for a long time. So moving on to hearing of residents, did anybody sign up? No, nobody signed up. Didn't get any emails or anything? Nope. Nope. Okay. All right, item number 4 is the election of Planning and Zoning Commissioner Chair and Vice Chair. Our rules of order, or whatever we want to call them, says that at the first meeting in August of every year, we will elect a chairman and a vice chairman. And the way I would like to work that, for each position, I will ask for nominations. And then once each position, once we have the nominations, then we'll close and we'll just take a voice vote on each name for each position. I don't think it's, when the time comes, if you want to nominate somebody, just speak up. I don't think it requires a second. And then again, we'll take each position one at a time and go from there. So unless there are any objections, I'd like to go ahead and start with the chairman's position. And the chair will accept nominations for chairman at this time.
Do you want to continue in that role, Ken?
That's all right. I understand.
You know where my head's at.
He's on everybody's mind tonight. I certainly appreciate that. Yes, I would. If you would like to nominate me, I would be honored. So are you gonna make that nomination?
Yes, I'll make you as the nominee for the chairman.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Evans. Anyone else like to nominate? Anyone else interested in the job and would like to nominate yourself? I'm okay with that too. Yeah, that's how you a lot of people end up with jobs like this. Okay. All right, well, hearing no other nominations, nominations are closed, and I'll just ask all those in favor of re-electing myself as the commissioner, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
And that's everybody. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and Ms. Goldick, I appreciate that very much.
While he's getting it recorded, I'll tell any of you that have been here and want it, you're welcome to the assistant's job. And under this guy, the assistant doesn't have to do much, so it's not a bad way to get broke in.
All right, so as Commissioner Evans indicated, we'll now accept nominations for vice chair.
Ernie, are you saying you don't want the job? I think we should keep him in his position, so I nominate him.
All right, we have a nomination for Commissioner Evans from Commissioner Ray. Are there any others? Hearing none, all in favor of Commissioner Evans as vice chair, please say aye.
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 Aye. All righty. Okay, moving on to item 4, the consent agenda. We have one item this evening, and that's the minutes from the July 28, 2021 regular meeting. And commissioners, I'm going to ask that we pull that for discussion. Oh, yeah, I can't even read. It's not the minutes, by the way. Thank you. Your head is somewhere else now. All right, so we have 3 items on the consent agenda tonight. I stand corrected. The first being the minutes from the July 28, 2021 regular meeting. Item B is PC 2021-026. Consider and act upon a request for approval of a final plat of the Halley's Cove subdivision, Unit 4A, a 8.23 acre tract of land generally located approximately 640 feet southeast from FM 1518, City of Schertz, Bexar County, Texas. And item C, PC 2021-028. Consider and act upon a request for approval of a final plat of the QT 4032 subdivision, an 8.35 acre tract of land located at the northwest corner of the intersection between IH 35 and Schwab Road, City of Schertz, Bexar County, Texas, also known as 23953 IH 35. I was going to ask to pull item B. There is a technical error in there, or a typographical error in there that could be significant. And I'm also going to ask that we pull item C to correct the caption. Anyone object to that? Okay, so those 2 items will be discussed. So that leaves item A on the consent agenda, minutes for the July 28, 2021 regular meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes of the July 28th, 2021 regular meeting as presented.
Okay, I have a motion to approve from Commissioner Broad. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was Commissioner Plat. All right, no discussion on consent agenda. I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 7 ayes, none opposed. That motion passes. All right, moving on then back to item 5B. Megan's aware of what I brought up, so go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So, to backtrack. So, under B, there was a typo where it needs to say 10 instead of 2. A, B, and C are for the lots that are going to be adjacent from that drainage easement that I will show you here in just a second, but this is supposed to say 10 instead of 2.
All right, Megan, thank you. And that was the error I pointed out to her yesterday morning, and that was the only reason I wanted it to discuss it. But commissioners, it's now on the table if anyone has any other questions or would like to discuss that. All righty. Well, hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to either approve or deny PC 2021-026. I would suggest, if you want to approve it, that we approve it with the stipulation that the change gets made. Or is that
So
just
the plat is fine, it's just
Okay.
the staff report.
all righty, so we don't need to worry about that. All right, thank you.
A motion to approve PC 2021-026 as presented.
I have a motion to approve from Commissioner Platt. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was Commissioner Braun. You know, we're all sitting up here, and I'm still having trouble telling where the sound's coming from. All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve PC 2021-026. Any further questions or discussion? Call the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye, I'm sorry.
Aye. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm going to let that one go. All right, 7-4, none opposed, that motion passes. Okay, item number C, I asked to pull this again because of the caption, and I don't,
It's supposed to say Comal County,
yeah,
not Bear County.
okay. But the plat itself is correct, I did.
Correct.
Okay,
Going faster than my brain is.
now we know how, you all are busy, and just getting busier every day. So commissioners, once again, that my question was answered, but if you have anything you'd like to ask or discuss about this. If not, we'll entertain a motion.
A motion to approve PC 2021-028.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve PC 2021-028. Any other discussion or questions? Call the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. 7 ayes, none opposed. That motion passes. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
All right, item number 6, public hearing. We have 2 public hearings this evening. Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing related to zone change requests and replats within this agenda. The public hearing will be open to receive a report from staff, the applicant, the adjoining property owners affected by the applicant's request, and any other interested persons. Upon completion, the public hearing will be closed. The commission will discuss and consider the application and may request additional information from staff or the applicant if required. After deliberation, the commission is asked to consider and act upon the following requests and make a recommendation to the city council if necessary. So item 6A, ZC 2021-007, a request to rezone approximately 1 acre of land from General Business District, GB, to Main Street Mixed Use New Development District, MSMU-ND, generally located at the corner of Main Street and Schertz Parkway, 820-824 Main Street, also known as Guadalupe County Property Identification Number 16630, City of Schertz, Guadalupe County, Texas. And we'll start with the staff presentation. Megan?
Good evening, Commission. So this is for ZC 2021-027, Megan Harrison, planner. Just to provide some reference, the property is outlined here in green. This is Main Street and Schertz Parkway. Here's the zoning exhibit and zoning map. The property, again here outlined in blue. There was 13 public hearing notices sent out on July 30th. At the time of the staff report and at the time of today, we have not received any responses neutral, in favor, or opposed. Here's the proposed zoning map. So on the left-hand side is the general business, which is what is designated right now. And then if the zone change were to be approved, it would change to that MSMU-ND, so Main Street Mixed Use New Development. Just wanted to provide a little bit of kind of just background. We did just recently approve the new zoning district for Main Street Mixed Use New Development. It essentially mirrors the Main Street Mixed Use district right now. There was some modifications, but it does still incorporate having that commercial and single-family residential along Main Street. So some of the things that were changed were the reduced in the parking, reduced in the setbacks, the landscape buffers, but this was, evaluated due to some of the properties on Main Street being a little bit smaller, but then also we have certain lots that have either residential or commercial right next to each other. So just trying to take all of that into consideration with this new zoning district. Under the current comp plan, this is designated as a Main Street commercial. So for the Main Street commercial, it's also incorporated within the historic downtown Main Street. So trying to keep the historic charm of Schertz down on Main Street, but then also to allow development in existing homes or existing businesses down there, or now with this new Main Street Mixed Use New Development to allow new construction on lots that are either vacant or the homes are no longer able to be used. So with the Main Street Mixed Use New Development, it was created to assist property owners that are wanting to develop on Main Street. And with that, it is to allow them to either use existing home, but what we saw was that there was several locations that those homes were not viable, but then we also have several lots that are vacant. So this zoning district does allow for the applicant to develop still in Main Street, down on Main Street, but that would be the new construction. So at this time, the staff does recommend the approval of the zone change from the general business district to the Main Street Mixed Use New Development. It is in conformance with the comprehensive land use plan, as well as the new zoning district that y'all did just pass, and it adheres to all the zoning regulations within the UDC. So with that, staff does recommend approval of ZC 2021-027, 820-824 Main Street. The applicant is here in case there are questions, but if not.
All right, thank you, Megan. Does the applicant wish to make a presentation? No? Okay.
No, he's good.
All right, this is a public hearing, so at this time I'll open it for public input. Anyone wishing to address the commission on this topic is welcome to step up to the microphone. And there's the usual rush to get up there. No, nobody? No? All righty. We'll close this portion, the public input portion, and over to you, commissioners.
I just want to say a word of thanks to Mr. Marquez for taking the risks on all these properties that he's sticking his fingers into, and hoping great success, and that always looking forward to see what else you have in mind for Main Street.
And in the earlier discussion and of the new zone, this new development, MSMU new development, I had some concerns that we'll just have to wait and see how things work out. However, I think it is a very positive step that we're going from general business to MSNU new development. I think that's definitely a positive. All right, so this is a request to rezone, and that decision will be made by City Council. So if there's no further discussion, Chair will entertain a motion to either recommend approval or recommend denial to City Council of ZC 2021-007.
Chairman, I make a motion to recommend approval of ZZ 2021-007.
Second.
That was down there, Commissioner Haynes? Okay, all right. So we have a motion and a second to recommend approval to City Council. Is there any further discussion? Call the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. 7 ayes, none opposed, motion passes. Okay, item B is ZC 2021-008, a request to rezone approximately 0.4 acres of land from General Business District, GB, to Main Street Mixed Use New Development District, MSMU-ND, generally located 250 feet east from the intersection of Randolph Avenue and Main Street, 610 Main Street, also known as Guadalupe County Property Identification Number 168852, City of Schertz, Guadalupe County, Texas. Megan?
Good evening, Commission. This is for ZC 2021-008. To provide reference, the property here is outlined in green. Here is Main Street, which is fronting the property. The property, we did send out 17 public hearing notices. At the time of the staff report, we did not receive any responses. However, I did receive one in the mail that was neutral to the zoning case. So again, as you saw previously, this is the proposed zoning map. So currently, as it is right now, it is zoned general business, but with the possible approval of the Main Street mixed-use new development, it will potentially be designated as that new zoning district. So with this one as well, as previously mentioned with the Main Street Mixed Use New Development New Zoning District that we did create earlier, this one would allow, as this one is a vacant property, to really utilize the new zoning district to allow for new construction on Main Street. With the current comp plan, it does have the designation of the Main Street, so keeping with the historic aspects of Main Street, but also keeping the historical charm of the city of Schertz as well. So with that being all said, the zone change from general business to Main Street mixed-use new development is in conformance with the comprehensive land use plan, as well as that zoning district for Main Street mixed-use new development that was recently approved, and adheres to all zoning regulations within the UDC. Staff does recommend approval for ZC 2021-008 to Main Street Mixed-Use New Development. Applicant is here in case there's any questions.
All right, thank you, Megan. The applicant wish to address the commission? Not required, no?
He's good.
Okay. All right, this again being a public hearing, the floor is open for public input. Anybody wishing to address this issue, welcome to step forward. No one. All righty. Commissioners. Your microphone.
Sorry. When you showed the corner of Randolph,
Do you want me to go to the aerial?
well, this is good right
Okay.
there. That's the corner of Randolph, because that would be Rocket right there where the gray building is at. And, there's a property between them. Now, is that property that's between Rocket and the piece we're rezoning, is that part of Rocket's property or part of this property?
No, sir, so there's Rockets, and then there's a property that is between the applicants and Rockets, and so it is only just 610 Main Street that is being rezoned.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the aerial, it might be better. Yes, so Rockets is here at the hard corner, but there is that property that is in between the two, and it is only for the
Okay.
610.
I'm with you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Again, I think it's a very positive move to go from general business to MSMU and D. I would hope maybe one day to see GB completely disappear from Main Street, one property at a time. So I think it's a good step. Anyone else? All right, once again, this is for us to make a recommendation to City Council for either approval or denial. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve request to rezone as per ZC 2021-008.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion to recommend approval from Commissioner Haynes and a second from Commissioner Ray, correct?
Correct.
All right. Anyone else? Any further questions, discussion? Call the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. 7 ayes, none opposed, so we will make that approval recommendation to City Council. Item 7 is items for individual consideration. We have PC 2021-027, consider and act upon a request for approval of a replat of the Windy Meadow Unit 4 subdivision, an approximately 13-acre tract of land located approximately 1,300 feet southwest of the intersection of Maskey Road and Schertz Parkway, City of Schertz, Guadalupe County, Texas. Megan?
Good evening, Commission. So again, this is for PC 2021-027, Windy Meadows Unit 4 replat. So to provide reference, the property here is outlined in green, and this is Maskey Road, and then further down to this kind of up in the right-hand corner is Schertz Parkway. So I did want to provide a little bit of kind of history for this one. So this final plat was done in 1996, and so that is the reason why they're coming to do the replat, to incorporate some other acreage within the Windy Meadows Unit 4. Also with the Windy Meadows Unit 4, it did go through a PDD earlier last year, and it was approved by City Council. And so with the PDD, it did allow them to make some modifications. So one of those being the proposed design standards for the slip spaces. So not so much having a square footage, but a dimensional between spaces. So for the minimum setback for each dwelling unit is at 20 feet, and then a minimum setback of 15 feet from any access easements. And then each dwelling unit shall have a minimum setback of 10 feet from any public right-of-way. Also within that PDD, there were some modifications to some parking. They are going to be providing parking spaces for the home, for the pad sites, but then also some parking for any guests that do come. So they will be providing that. And the other modification was the landscaping around the site as well. So just kind of want to provide y'all a little bit of information as this one, the final plat was done some some time ago, so just wanted to give that to y'all. So here is the current plat for Windy Meadows Unit 4. They are going to be proposing 70 spaces within this unit. It is going to have access from 2 points. So Maskey Road being up here at my cursor. So they will have access from Sunshine Falls Drive to Maskey Road and then Redbud Way. They're also going to be essentially stubbing out from Marigold Lane and Rain Lily Lane for the proposed extension of Live Oak Road, so which is going to follow essentially right here. So with that, they did dedicate right-of-way for the proposed Live Oak Road whenever that Master Thoroughfare Plan Road does get expanded or essentially constructed. It will be serviced by the City of Schertz Water and Sewer. And then with the drainage, it was reviewed by the City of Schertz engineer and was approved. So with that being said, the replat is consistent with the applicable requirements, ordinances, and regulations, as well as the PDD that is in place for Windy Meadows Unit 4. It has been reviewed by Engineering, Public Works, Fire, and Planning with no objections. And with that, staff does recommend approval of the Windy Meadows Unit 4 replat. The applicant is here. He's actually virtual, so that is why we have this screen. And so his name is James McGar. I'm not sure if there is questions. He's more than happy to provide answers to those.
All right, thank you, Megan. Commissioners, questions, discussion?
I do have a quick question. It should be an easy one. It came up at the last meeting. The owner and applicant are different on this again. So there's Yes Companies WFC, who's on the plat as the owner, and then Yes Communities as part of the applicant. Is that a typo or is it correct?
That's how they demonstrated it on the application. James, were you able to hear the question?
A little bit of the question. Was he asking for the difference in the name?
Yeah, so under the owner, it was provided as Yes Companies WFC LLC, but then as Craig, and behind his title, he has it as Yes Communities. Was there under, as far as that was on the application, he just wants to know if that is correct.
Okay, there was a name change, legal name change of the company. So it is the same company, it's just they have incorporated or, you know.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, James.
I have a question. The access from Marigold Lane onto the Live Oak Road extension, whenever that's going to happen, is that according? I mean, it's on the plat, so I'm assuming it's legal, but it seems awful close to Maskey Road.
Yeah, so it was reviewed by the engineering department in order for it to be placed where it is for the possible extension of Live Oak Road with the stub out from Marigold Lane. So it was reviewed by engineering, and they had no objection to the placement of it.
I just see potential backups coming off of Maskey and coming off of Live Oak, getting into that entryway. I just see a problem, and I know it's okay with engineering, but I have a lot of problems with some of the things engineers do on highways that don't actually work out in reality. And I'm just wondering if that's necessary. Would it be a problem to close that off and just leave
Rain Lily Lane?
Leave Rain Lily? And am I the only one that thinks that way, or are there other commissioners that might think that way?
Well, I think part of the question, Commissioner Broad, is the future of Maskey Road. At one point, the city, and this was many years ago when, we were talking about extending Live Oak Road, the plan called for closing Maskey to through traffic, and it would really only be an access driveway to the Ackerman property. And then I seem to remember something about that thinking changed a little bit. Mr. James, do you have any insight into that?
I don't see how that could work.
Well, all the traffic would go from, you'd have to make that turn from Maskey onto Live Oak, and Maskey would no longer go. But Brian, do you have anything?
Sure. So one thing to make clear is that the primary movement, the way the roads will lay out, will be Live Oak coming through, making that S-curve and going over to FM 1518. The current section of Maskey that we're talking about that's to the east, coming off Schertz Parkway, will tee in to Maskey Road. So you're not going to have people stacking on the Live Oak S-curve at the Maskey intersection if it remains. That'll be the primary movement. They'll be able to go directly through. Somebody on that Maskey would have to stop at a stop sign, wait till it's clear and go. And for that reason, it's not a backup concern. If it were reversed, then you're right, that intersection may be too close, traffic may be back up, may be a tough time getting out. But also, Commissioner Outlaw is right. Ideally, the city, with the extension of Live Oak and the S-curve and the improvement to make that connection to 1518, ideally, we would close off that section of Maskey from Schertz Parkway and not have it be a connection. Now, as you can see, you've got a few property owners that potentially may need access. So with development of these tracks, and we'll see how it goes, the idea would be the connection to Benzel Farms, the connection to Schertz Parkway. So yeah, we would ideally like to close this. Not sure it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, what will happen is Maskey will tee into Live Oak, thus not having this be an issue for a stacking concern because of where it tees. If it were the other, you would be exactly right, Mr. Bro. We'd look at that and say, hey, that stacking may be a problem. In this case, because of how the primary movement will go, it's not a concern. And I think, frankly, the other part of it, just to be clear, and Megan can get me back down to the Plat application, is we think there is some value to more points of access in and out for this kind of subdivision, if you will, and that's the trade-off with fewer.
Yes, I certainly like the new proposed street layout much better than the current existing street layout. And a little more history, I was okay with this plat as the fire marshal, as I recounted to Ms. Harrison yesterday morning, because that one street, I can't read the name of it, the bottom street there where it comes down and makes the turn. What's the street going across there?
It's Rain Lily Lane.
That was actually, when this plat was presented and approved, that was a through street that with a bridge or some access through the drainage easement and connecting into the main portion of Windy Meadows. So you actually had some circulation that, for many reasons that became an impractical thing to do. And so what you basically have now is a dead end. There's one way in and out of that subdivision. So the new proposed layout, at least from a public safety perspective, is much better. And while I can see possibly some concerns about how traffic's going to interact, not knowing what's going to happen to Maskey Road, I'm just concerned that if they were not to stub out Marigold, then the city decides to close Maskey, and then we're back to just the one access point again. Fire department approved, was okay with this?
Yes, all departments reviewed it.
They're okay with no temporary turnaround on the end of Marigold?
Correct.
Okay. Anything else? Did that help at all?
Not really. I don't think we could close Maskey. There's too many properties on Maskey to ever close it. It might stay a glorified sidewalk in the future, but I'm not sure that we could ever close it. But if I heard Mr. James right, what you were saying was that Live Oak, there won't be a stop sign there at Live Oak and Maskey. It'll just be a flow-through?
Yeah, so Live Oak is not anticipated to have a stop sign at Maskey. It's anticipated that Maskey will come tee in to Live Oak, and there'll be a stop sign at Maskey. Again,
Is the rest of Maskey going to change to live oak? Is that what we're going to do? Or-
right, so essentially what you're going to have, help me here. Essentially what you're going to have is live oak extends across Schertz Parkway, comes down beyond where it stops, will curve up here, come over here, and extend through here.
Okay,
This section where the cursor is of Maskey, that name will change to live oak.
okay, I got it.
That, yeah, sorry, I probably didn't explain.
Okay, good. Anyone else? All right, Commissioners, this is ours to approve or deny. So if there is no further discussion or questions, we'll entertain a motion.
I motion to approve PC 2021-027.
Have a motion to approve from Commissioner Platt. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Goldick. Any further questions, discussions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. 7 ayes, none opposed. None opposed. That motion's approved. Item number 8, workshop discussion.
There is no workshop discussion.
Yeah, okay.
My apologies.
That's all right. Item number 9, requests and announcements. Request by commissioners to place items on a future planning and zoning agenda. Anyone? All right, hearing none, moving on to B, announcements by commissioners.
I'll make an announcement.
Okay, go ahead.
We have our Main Street Commons Market the third Saturday of every month on Main Street, so y'all need to come visit 816 Main
The third Saturday of every month.
every month, August 21st,
What time is that?
9 to 2.
Yeah, all right, thank you. And commissioners, I exercised a little privilege, and I made my comments at the beginning of the meeting. If anyone else would like to say anything or add anything to what I said. All right then, any announcements by city staff?
I did just want to make the reminder, I know a couple of our P&Z members were not at the last meeting. So just wanted to reiterate the APA conference is going to take place November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Fort Worth. Tiffany did send an email out, and she would just need to have the response if you're going to be attending by August 13th. So if you wouldn't mind letting her know if you will be attending, and then also if you're going to drive yourself or ride with staff.
Okay, we seem to have a problem because my email never gets to me. So I'm guessing that you still have the Hotmail link versus the Outlook link.
We can check. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm sure if you get with Tiffany, and they'll,
I'll re-email it to you, just singly.
okay. And then item 10, in the packets, information available. And so item 11, there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.